Last Saturday, in the game against Nashville, we saw Alexandar Georgiev give up 4 goals in just over 1 period of play. Although they may not have all been completely his fault, and there was some luck that worked against him, he was still pulled after Gustav Nyquist slid the 4th one by him. Part of the reason he was taken out was his decision to throw the puck out of the net, which ended up going into the stands. Although it wasn't intentional, it still resulted in a 2-minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. After this, Justus Annunen came into the game, and the Avalanche were not scored on for the rest of the day. The Avs traded for Georgiev during the 2022 offseason and would later sign him to a 3-year, $3,400,000 contract. In his first year as the starter with the Avs, he highly outperformed expectations, putting up a .919 save percentage and a 2.53 goals against average. He had the most wins in the NHL with 40 and stole multiple games for the Avalanche. It looked as though Colorado had found a cheap but very solid and reliable starter for the next few years. However, this year, Avs fans have not been quite as happy with his performance. So far this season, Georgiev is 37, 15-4 with a .901 save percentage and a 2.85 goals against average. It's been a very up and down season for the netminder from Bulgaria as he struggled to find consistency throughout the season. He, of course, was probably a little bit overworked at the beginning of the year, as Pavel Francouz was out of the lineup due to injury, and he was getting most of the starts without a reliable backup. The Avs tried Ivan Prosvetov for a stint, but it did not work out. Colorado would later look to Justus Annunen to take over the backup job, and he has been very good. This was good for Georgiev as it allowed him to get a night off and some rest from time to time. However, Annunen has been good enough that now some fans are calling for him to be the starter over Georgiev heading into the playoffs. On February 22nd, Justus Annunen would get the start at Detroit and would allow just 1 goal to be scored in regulation. Since then, Georgiev has played 11 games, putting up an .897 save percentage and a 2.54 goals against average. Annunen has played 8 games, just 3 less than Georgiev, putting up a .946 save percentage and only a 1.5 goals against average. In Juice's 8 appearances, he's only had 1 game with less than a .900 save percentage. He's been very reliable and has consistently bailed the guys out on many occasions. In the game on Saturday, when he entered, you could tell that the crowd was confident in him and was pleased to see him come in. He instantly made a couple saves right away and changed the flow of that game. He turned down every chance Nashville had and helped secure the comeback victory for the Avs. After his stellar performance, head coach Jared Bednar decided to go back to Juice for the game in Columbus. Bednar told media that this was a scheduled start and that he wasn't taking over the job, but fans were still wondering whether Annunen could be taking over for Georgiev. He ended up giving up 3 goals to the Jackets and would have just a .875 save percentage, but made a lot of great saves and was really only beat cleanly on 1 shot. However, even with all of Annunen's success, I still think that Georgiev will maintain the starting job heading into the playoffs. He's been pretty solid throughout the last month, with his only really poor performance coming in the Nashville game. And even then, I still don't think all 4 of those goals were totally on him. I think him throwing the puck into the stands was still a huge part of Bednar pulling him out of the game and was probably taken into consideration when deciding on a starter for the Columbus game. I'm sure he'll get the start in Minnesota tomorrow, and hopefully he'll recover with a nice performance against the Wild. Annunen's stats may be much better lately, but Juice is also getting to play against the bottom feeders like Chicago and Columbus, while Georgiev's playing against the top teams in the league. As long as Georgie stays consistent and is reliable over the next 3 weeks, he'll be the starter going into the playoffs. However, should he get cold at any time, I do believe that Bednar should look Annunen's way. There are no given spots come playoff time, and Colorado should definitely be riding whoever is hot at the time. But with that being said, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Georgiev should lose the starting job to Annunen, or do you think they should ride him out until he continues to get worse? With that being said, I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.